hope you are all going well. Today's video is very exciting because this was the first time I have ever attended the Sunset Safari at Werribee Open Range Zoo. As a matter of fact, this was my first time visiting Werribee in over 5 years. From January to February of 2025, you'll have the opportunity to visit the zoo after opening hours, which is something I had never done before. I'm pretty sure that this event runs annually every summer, and events like this can help support sister zoos, including the Ugandan Wildlife Conservation Education Centre. One of the first things I noticed was how much I love the decorations surrounding the entrance at the zoo. Whether it's on the wooden poles or in the parking lots, there are plenty of little animal statues around. Later on throughout the evening, I even noticed that there were some lovely paintings and cool informational sheets in the women's bathrooms. When we arrived, we were allocated a time to get on a bus, and because it was pretty early, we decided to find the waiting area first so that we can explore the zoo by ourselves after the safari. If your safari is later on in the evenings, there are plenty of things you can do in the meantime. You can enjoy the performances at the African village, get some food, or explore the zoo. Speaking of things you can do while waiting, while we were outside the safari boarding point, we noticed a couple of Cape Barren geese around the place. Now, you may think that this is no big deal because of how common these geese are in the southern parts of Australia, but I later learned through the Werribee Zoo Facebook page that these geese were once considered the world's most endangered waterfowl. According to Australian Museum, in the 1950s, the Cape Barren geese were feared to be close to extinction because of how low their population was. Now, in 2025, these birds are not considered to be endangered, and as a matter of fact, they were ranked of least concern by the IUCN. The Werribee Open Range Zoo is a very safe and biodiverse area for our precious wildlife. Before boarding the safari, we saw plenty of birds and rabbits around the place. I didn't have time to get a video, but someone on a bus did also spot a wild wallaby hanging around. I also noticed that there was a QR code you could scan to see the Australian Sign Language on the safari. This is very nice and inclusive. I really hope that all zoo safaris can offer this option and that sign language can be more accessible to everyone everywhere. The safari started off in a desert area where we saw camels and scimitar-horned oryx. According to the Werribee Zoo website, camels were first imported from Pakistan to Australia in the mid-1800s, and Australia now has the world's largest population of wild camels. In 2023, the scimitar-horned oryx were reclassified from extinct in the wild to endangered. Scimitar comes from the curved swords used historically in Arabic countries, so that is where they got their names from. Before getting to the next habitat, we also got a quick glimpse at the Nyala, which are a unique species of African antelopes. They are naturally shy animals, so it's normal for them to huddle together like this. We also saw some blackbuck, also known as Indian antelopes. The blackbuck is now unfortunately extinct in the wild in Bangladesh and Pakistan, so I think it's amazing that organisations like the Werribee Open Range Zoo can help conservation efforts. On the topic of conservation, our guide also told us that in the late 1800s, the American bison were almost hunted to extinction, and all the bison we have today came from the Yellowstone National Park or nearby areas. As of 2025, there are about 500,000 bison in the wild, which is quite a good comeback. If you're wondering why the bison look the way they do, it's because they're used to living in extremely cold temperatures of up to -40 degrees Celsius. So now they're shredding a bit to deal with the warmer Melbourne weather. The bison were housed next to the Takhi, which was believed to be completely extinct after the Second World War. However, there were actually less than 20 Takhi left in private zoos across the world. Today there are over 2,500 Takhi in the world, and some have even been reintroduced to Mongolia and other areas in Asia. While we were on our way to the Rhino sanctuary, we experienced a delay on the safari because of an ostrich named Napoleon. As you will see later down the safari, this tends to be a common thing. As a matter of fact, ostriches aren't the only animals who get in the way of safaris. Not only are ostriches the biggest birds in the world, but they also have the largest eye size of any land animals on the planet, which means they have very small spaces left for their brains, and their brains are about the size of a thumb. After Napoleon finally got out of the way, we reached the main attraction of the open range safari, which included animals such as giraffes, rhinos, and zebras. We were extremely lucky because as soon as we drove into this space, we saw the famous baby rhino Jabulani, who was born in August 2024. Jabulani means bringer of joy and happiness in Zulu, and he most certainly lived up to that name. Now, he may look tiny, but when he was born, he was already 55 kilograms. And as of January 2025, when he was around 5 months old, he was already over 400 kilograms. For reference, southern white rhinos can weigh up to over 2,700 kilograms. We were also fortunate enough to see and learn about the other rhinos in Werribee. The one which stands out the most is Lataba, who looks like she has a bruised eye, but this is actually because of an allergic reaction to what the keepers may believe may be from grass or pollen. Because of this, the Werribee Zoo team wants to make a vaccine just for her, but until then they'll put anti-allergy cream around her eyes, which is why her eyes look bruised. The rhinos also share this space with the plain zebras, who are not white with black stripes, but rather black with white stripes, and every single one of them have a unique pattern. Although the zebras have many predators, their powerful back kicks are actually strong enough to break a lion's jaw. As promised, we did see quite a few ostriches again, and the reason they are running up to the ute is because some keepers came over to deliver food, so the animals get excited whenever they see the car. The keepers also told us that one of the ostriches likes showing off and doing what appears to be a mating dance to the car. He is spreading his wings nice and wide, which is something ostriches usually do to others when they try to flirt. After seeing the ostriches, we saw plenty of elands, which are the world's largest antelopes. They are native to Africa and use their spiral horns to pull food into reach. We were also very lucky to see some waterbuck on the land instead of all the way in the water. They also tend to hide under trees or in shady spots, so it really was a blessing to be able to see them out in the open like this. So the Werribee Zoo has a total of 7 giraffes, and we were very lucky to have been able to see them before they moved into their nighttime enclosure. All the animals here love to hang out with the giraffes because their height allows them to sense danger earlier. Even though there are no predators here, sometimes the wind blows the scent from the lion's exhibit over to this range. I absolutely loved seeing the friendship between these beautiful boys, and a new fact I learned about giraffes is that they like to hum each other at night, which I find really sweet and cute. Giraffes are extremely intelligent because they can communicate by cracking their necks. So for Now it was time for the safari to circle back around, which gave us the opportunity to get a better look at a cute little blackbuck. We also saw plenty of magpie geese, which are native to Australia but also found in Papua New Guinea and Indonesia. We even saw quite a few birds of prey circling around, including some black kites. Additionally, on the way back we saw some rabbits, some more rabbits, and some even more rabbits. Even though we saw the oryx before, it was nice seeing them again and learning more about their enrichment. Apparently they like rolling around or standing on top of this big pile of dirt, and sometimes they even put their horns in to dig through it. After the lovely safari, my dad and I went to Meerkat Bistro Cafe to have our dinner, which we got as a part of the Sunset Safari package. We both got the vegetarian bistro meal combo with a cup of champagne and a cup of solo. It was slightly spicier than I expected, but it was so delicious and I would definitely have it again. Now that we finished our dinner, we decided to walk around the zoo before heading home. By this time, most animals have already been moved into their overnight enclosures, so we didn't see as many animals as we were hoping to. But there were quite a few cute statues and signs around, which I really liked seeing. The Latin word hippopotamus was derived from the words horse and river, and the Chinese word for hippo translates to river horse, which is very interesting seeing so many cultures compare them to horses, because their closest living relatives are actually whales and dolphins. Because hippos tend to be more active at night, today was also the most luck I've ever had with seeing them and getting videos of them. I was extremely lucky to have been able to see them go into the water, emerge from the water, and open their mouths widely. The other animals we were able to get good looks at was African lions, who are unfortunately becoming harder to find in the wild due to habitat destruction, trophy hunting, and diseases. Even though we weren't able to see the cheetahs or any other big cats, I was really glad that we were able to see the lions this close. I think they are so adorable, and if they weren't carnivores, I would honestly love to cuddle them. By the time we finished exploring the zoo, the night was still very lively and the dancing was still going. I loved everybody's energy, I loved the positivity, and overall it was just such an amazing atmosphere to be in, and I would definitely go to one of those sunset safaris again. So that brings us to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed watching it, and I hope you have a great day.